Hello everyone. This is Kate here to make a presentation about the incredible phrases that we use in English, and I'm really sorry about making it a bit later, but as you can imagine, the technical issues do not really go along with girls, so we girls might have troubles kind of solving them. Anyway, so I'm very happy again to be here, to be sharing some useful tips with you guys, and we're talking about some phrases, actually 6 phrases and 6 situations that you might face every day or almost every day, and I would really like for you to take advantage of today's session as much as possible. So let's get it started, and the first situation that I would like to talk about is the one when you are planning to visit your friend, or you are planning to, let's say, to see a colleague on another floor, and without actually letting them know that you are coming to see them. So how would you say that? How would you say that you're going to see them without warning, or it's going to be an unplanned visit? So let us have a look at a few examples here. And the first one sounds like we will do something and see how you're doing tomorrow. So we will come and see you without letting you know about it, and see if you are feeling okay or not. So in this case, we're going to say we'll drop in. So to drop in means to make an unplanned visit, and just to make someone hopefully happy with your presence. So that's the first phrase that you might want to use whenever someone, let's say, wants to see you and you haven't caught up for a while. You might say, well, just drop in, and we're going to have a chat, and we're going to have a coffee together. Now, I would also like to provide you with a few more synonyms for this phrase. And in the second example, we see it says that I'm happy you're living in your neighborhood now, in our neighborhood. So let's say your colleague just bought a flat in your neighborhood, and you are just inviting them, and you're saying, well, come by whenever you want. Come by whenever that suits you, and I'll be happy to see you. So drop in, come by. Now, another example could be that you were on your way, you were going home, and then someone, let's say, lives on your way to work or home, and you just decided to spend a few hours with that person, and you would say that you wanted to stop by their house. So in this case, it says, I was coming home, but I decided to stop by my uncle's on the way, right? So stop by. You can also stop by for coffee on your way to work if you're dying to get something to wake up. Don't know. And then the last example with one more synonym is going to be come round. So come round tonight, I will watch a video. That's a really nice way of inviting someone to your place, and again, just making sure that people don't bother about making an appointment with you. So they might drop in your place, or come by, stop by, or come round. I know at this moment students would usually ask me, like, why in the world does English need that many synonyms? Well, doesn't that make your speech more sophisticated, or your vocabulary more expanded? And this is actually the goal that we are trying to achieve. Choose any. I would recommend choosing any that you really like, and simply practicing that as much as possible. All right, let's come up with a second situation. And here we are going to talk about being busy. So how would you say that, well, I can't really meet you tonight. I've got some things to do. Very often students would translate it from Ukrainian as business. They would say like, I've got some business to do. Well, no, this is not really business, yeah? So if you have to, let's say, pick up your kid from school, or you have to do some household chores, that's not business. Or you're having a date, so you got something you're busy with, and you really need to reject another offer. So let's have a look at this example here. Sorry, I can't make it. Hopefully you guys remember that one. Can't make it to the party tonight. I've got too many things to do, got too many things on my plate. And a very colloquial and very used one expression, the one that I myself heard many times, is going to be, I've got too many commitments to do. And for some of you, it might actually sound a bit new. And you probably you might have come across a different meaning of the word commitment, but in this case it is used in the meaning of having some things to do and being busy with something, right? Now another one could be, can we please finish the class a bit earlier because I've got some other commitments to do later. So I've got something else to do, and I'm not going to be on time if we finish at the appropriate time, so to say. So I've got some commitments, and hopefully you will use that today or tomorrow when talking to your colleagues abroad, just saying, oh, sorry, gotta leave my work earlier, got some commitments to do. And this actually does not imply you going into detail. You don't have to really explain yourself, and you're not going to feel guilty that there is something maybe awkward going on. Anyway, let's move on to the third situation. And this one is related to you being a generous person. Well, that could be someone else. Of course, this could be a good expression to know for comprehension when someone offers their generosity towards you. But very often you hear it as related to I, or I'm gonna do it, not like he did it. So let's see what I'm talking about. The first example, since you paid for the movie we saw last night, the dinner is... So the idea here is that it's a bit of a swap, a bit of a trade. Like you spent money for the movie, and for the movie tickets, and you paid for me. So now it is my turn to pay for you. So of course you can say, well, I'll pay for the dinner. But that sounds a bit like you're offering help because someone else cannot afford it. So that does have a bit of a offensive connotation. So I would suggest, and this is what I heard many times, using a more a softer kind of expression. This is going to be, the dinner is on me. Yeah, and if you guys are keen on watching videos and movies in English, I'm pretty much sure there is a high probability you've heard that before, because yeah, that's a pretty common thing when someone offers to be paying for someone else as a treat, as a just a nice gesture. So I would say the dinner is on me. Yeah, no worries. Now let's look at another example, the second one. Congrats on your promotion. How about I take you to a new restaurant in town and we make a small celebration tonight. Drinks are on me. Yeah, again, so drinks are on me. And that means that I'm paying for the drinks. And the third one, I decided to give you a little bit different expression, which is also quite widely used. Come on, let's go and have some ice cream. Don't worry about paying. It's my treat. So you'd say it's my treat. Again, synonymous. Another expression would be great if you could use both of them, and both of them are very, very used. Good. Let's move on to the fourth situation. And this one, as you can see from the picture, is connected with being puzzled or confused, or when you don't understand something. And you would use this expression to ask why something happened, or what does that mean? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, let's look at the example. I don't think I can make it to the party tomorrow. Your friend is saying that, for example, and you would answer like, why? But like, we agreed. Like, what do you mean? And that's gonna be, how come? Like, how come? And actually, how come does sound a bit more polite than why, and it is more. It's a better actually way of connecting to the person and not really maybe blaming them if you are not happy with what you've just heard. So it'd be like, how come? How's it possible? And definitely you're encouraging them to elaborate and give you a bit more information on that. Anyway, here's another one. So, how come he missed the train? So basically, we do not only use it as a separate phrase, but we can also use it in a sentence. We can say, which means actually, so how is it possible that he missed the train? But if you say how is it possible, you don't sound like a native, right? And that's our purpose actually, to make you sound, to make you blend in, yeah. So how come he missed the train? Basically, the idea is that after how come, we use the subject, he, she, it, they, and then a verb, did something. So how come you didn't know about the homework? You were supposed to do it for today. I did send it to you. Yeah, well, just a bit of pressure. Anyway, another one, you stayed up so late. And again, we can use it in a similar way. So how come you stayed up so late last night? And I know, right? I was just chatting with my friend last night and got carried away. Yeah, so how comes when you don't understand something? That's a really, really nice, short, concise, and useful phrase to be to be added to your everyday vocabulary. Just start using it immediately. Anyway, two more situations to come, and let's move on to the next one, the fifth one. We're going to talk about understanding. So you do know the word understand, yeah? So like you would say, I understand you. Yes, I understand what you're talking about. Sorry about my Skype popping up. Anyway, yeah, so I would really like to share with you a different one, a different expression that is widely used again and does imply a bit more empathy, like you are sympathizing with a person and you do not only understand, but you've been there. You know what it feels like. You've had this kind of experience. So let's see, let's have a look at the example. I find it hard to get things done on time due to my increased workload. I can definitely understand that, right? Or you can rephrase it and you can say, I can definitely relate to that. I'm really tied up with work this week. So yeah, basically that's the same, that's a similar idea to understand, but like I said, you are making a connection, a bit more of a connection with the person, and you're really making sure that they know that you actually know how they feel. So I can relate to that. Yeah, definitely. So another one, I really don't think I can relate to that, or I can relate, I guess I made a mistake here. So I really don't think I can relate to what you're saying. It doesn't make too much sense to me. So I just can't relate. So I haven't had this experience before, and I don't really know what you're talking about. So yeah, very similar to I can understand, but try to use something different. And I have heard, I would probably say that I've heard this phrase as many times as I understand. So pretty much yeah, again, widely used. Good, and let's come up with the last situation for today. This is the one opposed to the previous one. So yes, you do know that there is a verb understand, but there is also another situation that you might face is the awareness of something. So let me try to get to explain what I mean by an example. And an example here is that the moment I saw him, I understood theoretically, or I was aware that something was wrong. So in this situation, a lot of students would actually put there the verb understand. But it's very, very important to remember the difference between understand and realize. So realizing does not always mean understanding. Realizing is being aware of something. It is usually the result of some action, while understanding is just it's just comprehension. So like, I understand math, I'm good at that. Well, definitely not about me, but in general. Or yeah, I understand what you mean. So like, we had an example before, I can relate to that because I had similar experience. Now, realization is the result. So be careful, like really minded whenever when you use what. So in this situation, I saw that there was like, he was quite I don't know, sad. He was he looked depressed, and I realized, so that was my realization that something was wrong. So it's not I understood, never. It's quite crucial to understand the difference. And since realize is definitely not a new verb for you, it's not a new expression, I would like to provide you with a different one that sounds that actually means a similar thing, but sounds a bit more interesting. Say, all right, let's look at the example. But then I realized, for example, that it's so messed up. I hope you remember this one from the previous video, and I really don't know how to deal with it. So then it occurred to me that it's so messed up. It's so weird. At the moment, for example, when I started reading that paper or that document or an agreement, it occurred to me that there was something wrong with it, that there was something strange. So yeah, it occurred to me. It's similar to I realized. And another one, when I came to the station to buy a ticket, I realized, yes, it's not I understood. It's as a result, I looked in my backpack or in my bag, and it occurred to me that I had left my purse at home. So it occurred to me, I have realized as a result of looking into my bag that my purse was missing. All right, so I hope that you guys are going to enrich your vocabulary a bit by using these phrases. And let's recap. All right, so the first one, why? What do you mean? It's going to be how come? Yeah. Another one, I completely understand what you mean. This is, I can relate to that. I'll get it. I'll pay for it. That would be, it's on me. Yeah. Then a casual visit that you haven't planned is going to be any of these verbs. So I'll come round at 5, or please come by, I'll be happy to see you, or drop in anytime. Now I realized, or I came to realize, the synonym for it will be it occurred to me. And the last one, I've got some things to do. I'm pretty busy. It's going to be I have some commitments. So this is pretty much it for today. Thank you, guys. And there's one thing that I want to do. I believe that there's nothing better for expanding your vocabulary and improving your level of English is recapping and constantly repeating, being consistent in your studying. This is why I have created a Quizlet word list. I hope that some of you, I know that some of you know what Quizlet is. Maybe for some it's going to be a new thing, but it's an application, it's an online tool where I have created a list of expressions that I covered in the first video and in today's video, just for you to practice a little bit. So just right after the video, I'm going to post that in the comment section, and hope you will take advantage of that. So thank you very much. Join us for more sessions, and we will be happy to share some really useful tips with you. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.